Good day, my wonderful students. How are you today? I hope you are all fine. Welcome to government class this morning. I want you to settle down, get your writing materials ready. Yes, the topic we are considering this morning is the second part of the last lesson we treated. Party systems, part 2. Party systems, part 2. But before we proceed, let us look at the learning objectives again. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify the types of party systems. You should be able to give the features of party systems. I mean the feature of each. Highlight the merits and demerits of party systems. Mention the importance of party systems. And lastly, define party manifesto. Let us look at the correction of the last assignment. Correction of the assignment on party system 1. Question 1. Explain 4 features of one party system. Explain 4 features of one party system. Let's go straight to the answer. Only this legal party is recognized by the Constitution. Opposition party is not legally allowed. No private individual is allowed to own and publish newspaper, magazine, etc. That is, only the central government controls the media. And a one-party state can develop to become dictatorship. That is, a leader that have chosen to die in office, chosen to be an autocratic leader, not minding how the people will feel. The person that would like to stay in office till death comes. Question 2. Explain types of one-party system. Explain types of one-party system. Answer. We have true single-party system. True single-party system. This party system does not accept or permit opposition, that is, any opposition party. And this type of a system is existing in Malawi, Zambia, etc. The second one is a predominant party. Predominant party. This is a party which is elected and continues to be elected because the electorate so desires. The electorate so desires. This type of party mostly found in Asian countries. So that party is elected and continue to be elected as long as the electorate desires that. And the third one, hegemonic party system. Hegemonic party system. What does that mean? This is when one party is firmly established in office. A party has hegemony. And the meaning of hegemony is when a party enjoys unchallenged authority, since the state that operates such is effectively single party for a period of many years, e.g. South Africa, all white electorates. Question 3. Question 3. Differentiate between one-party and two-party system. Differentiate between one-party and two-party systems. You know, I prepare my own answer in a tabular form. One-party system on the left side, two-party system on the right side. Let's now look at their differences. Under one-party system, only this legal party is recognized by the Constitution. Two-party system, there are only two major political parties that are legally and constitutionally recognized. Under one-party system, opposition party is not legally allowed. Under two-party system, opposition party is legally recognized in a two-party system. A one-party state can develop to become dictatorship. There is room and opportunity for choice of candidates and parties under two-party system. Under one-party system again, no private individual is allowed to own and publish newspaper, magazine, etc. Two-party system, it accommodates democratic principles and allows the operation of the rule of law. That is that about the correction of the last lesson assignment. Now, let's go to today's business properly. During the last class, I defined two-party system for you. So we discussed about the features too. But today, let us go straight to the merits of two-party system. Let us go straight to the merits of two-party system. What are the merits of two-party system? This system makes for choice between political parties, and the party with better programs is chosen by the electorate. That is, people can make choice between the two parties, and any of the two with better programs, good manifesto, is chosen by the electorate. Secondly, in this system, one party forms the government, the other opposition, like PDP, APC. So the good example of this is in Britain. Labour Party is the ruling party and Conservative Party serves as the opposition party. Another merit, two-party system ensures stability. The reason is that there is no room for coalition government, which may create weak and unstable government. So it stabilizes the system. Another one is it is democratic because there is the opportunity for freedom of choice and association. So it is democratic while one party is undemocratic. And also, people can easily identify the strengths and weaknesses of the party in government. Let's now look at the demerits of this two-party system. Demerits now. The disadvantages. There is the possibility of two-party system dividing the country into two opposing factions, two opposing groups. This can affect national unity. So two-party can divide the country into two opposing factions. Another demerit, most of the nation's resources are wasted in conducting elections and in the maintenance of two political parties. The struggle for power within this system may not promote national unity because the two will be struggling for power, and this may not promote national unity. It may also lead to a one-party state. How? If one of the parties holds office for a long time, the other may dissolve into the ruling party. That is, one of the two parties, continue to rule, and it may dissolve into the ruling party. And also, there is possibilities of electoral malpractices, because each party wants to be in power at all costs. Also, subsequent elections may be manipulated by the ruling party through incumbency apparatus, because the government in power may manipulate all the available mechanisms to ensure that the party remains in power. Now let's go to another system, which I call multi-party system. Multi-party. From the name, you know that more than two parties is in that system. Let's go to the definition. It is defined as a system with more than two political parties in a country. All the parties are duly registered and recognized by the law. In multi-party system, a coalition government may be formed. That is, two or more parties can come together to form one, like APC. If no party had absolute majority seats in parliamentary election. So let us look at the examples of countries, that engages in this system. Nigeria, France, Italy, Zambia, Malawi, they practices this multi-party system. This system tends to be more common in parliamentary systems than presidential systems, and far more common in countries that use proportional representation. Proportional representation. What is proportional representation? It is a method used to elect representatives into the legislature. That is, it is a way to allocate seats in proportion to the votes cast in multi-member constituencies. What is constituency? Constituency is simply an electoral district or an area from which one or more members or representatives are elected into political offices. I said far more common in countries that use proportional representation compared to countries that use first past the post elections. What is the meaning of a first past the post elections? We can also call it simple majority system. This system indicates that a candidate with the highest number of votes cast will be the winner during an election. Several parties compete for power, and all of them have reasonable chance of forming government. What are the features of this system, multi-party system? There are more than 2 political parties system in the system. More than 2. All the political parties are recognized by the law. Individual can easily make choice of parties and program. There is wider representation. That is, people of different interests and opinions are represented in the decision-making process. In this system, there is absence of dictatorship, as there is no place for dictatorship in multi-party system. It can never exist. What are the merits of this system? It is democratic because the electorates are exposed to a number of choices, party, programs, candidates, etc. And that is what democracy is set to achieve. The rights of citizens are entrenched in the Constitution, are well documented. The provision is made in the Constitution for change of government through periodic elections, maybe 4 years, 3 years, as the case may be. This system encourages better party organization through competition, because all the parties will be in competition, and the one that has good programs may end up to win the election. It recognizes opposition parties, that is, the other political parties outside the ruling party can criticize government policies and actions. This will make the ruling party to be, to adjust in the way and manner which they rule that particular country. Let's now look at the demerits of multi-party system. Demerits: it weakens the executive. That is, it gives a disproportionate power to self-seeking minorities. It gives disproportionate power to self-seeking minorities. In some countries, it produces ethnic and sectionally based political parties, which may not be in the national interest. It turns important branches of legislation into class bribery. This lowers the standard of a public life. Now, the last one, zero-party system. Zero-party system. What is zero-party system? This has to do with a standard where political leaders are elected by the people on individual basis. There is no political party in this system. Candidates are mostly independent and are elected according to their merits. Yes, according to their merits. Those are the yardstick for choosing a candidate or elected a candidate in this system. Now, let me present to you list of countries without political parties. List of countries that practices zero-party system. Bahrain is one of them. Bahrain. Political parties are banned. Kuwait. Political parties are not legally recognized. Qatar. Political parties are banned. Oman. Political parties are also banned. Saudi Arabia. Political parties are banned as well. United Arab Emirates. Political parties are also banned. Vatican City State and Tuvalu, zero political parties. What are the merits of zero-party system? proper management of time is done properly in this system. That is proper time management. Electoral malpractice are reduced to the barest minimum. It is not that there will be no electoral malpractice, but this will be reduced to the barest minimum. The conduct of election in here is very simple to operate. It doesn't require wastage of resources. What are the demerits of this zero-party system? Those elected may not be responsible political leaders, because people will just be looking at the merits, maybe their certificates, their achievements, but they may not be very good when it's come to governance of a country. The government conduct of elections could be poorly organized and confusing. There is the possibility of the absence of political and citizenship education for the people. Absence of party manifesto could produce leaders without direction, because there may not be manifesto, which is very important for political parties. Political instability may result in the system. That is, there could be instability in the entire system. Now, let's look at the last subtopic, party manifesto. Party manifesto. What is party manifesto? This may be defined as the cardinal plans or programs of a political party, which the party intends to fulfill to the electorates. Another name for electorates is voters, if it is elected into power. All the promises, all the programs they have for the people are packed inside the manifesto. It can also be referred to as the aims and objectives of a political party. When you look at the right side of this slide, you will see the picture of the Labour Party manifesto and the Communist Party manifesto. What are the importance of party manifesto? The importance of party manifesto. 1. What to do and how to do it. What does that mean? It gives direction to the party's program of action or ideology and stipulates how to achieve them. That is, what the party intends to do, how the party is to achieve those things. All these things are being stipulated in the manifesto. 2. Manifesto acts as magnetic pull. What does that mean? It is usually a magnetic pull to the electorate, that is, to attract more members or supporters into the party. If a party should have a good manifesto, it will serve as a magnet that will pull electorates and members and supporters to such party. 3. It educates the electorate how to have insight into the aims and objectives and planned programs of the political party. At times they do make a copy and give to people at the campaign ground. So people will start looking and reading them. So this will showcase the aims and the objectives for such party and their planned programs, if the parties can get to what? Into power. And 4, manifesto serves as an assessment that helps the electorate to assess the party on the basis of the contents of the manifesto. If the electorate should have a copy of this manifesto and all the planned programs of that party. It will be very easy for the electorates to assess such party, whether that party will govern the country well or will not be a good, country manager. Look at this picture on the slide. This one is showing an aspirant of UK Labour Party. The man was showing a copy of manifesto to the people, which I know that the electors will have copies of this manifesto. Now, before we go into reference, a recap of what we have learned so far. Two-party system, it means two parties are recognized constitutionally, by the constitution in a country. That is, the availability of two parties in a system. And when we talk of multi-party system, that is more than two parties in a system. And some of them can form coalition government. And then pseudo party, no party at all. And I've given you countries that practices that pseudo party system. Leaders under that system are only chosen on merits, on their achievement, on their charisma. And they may not be good leaders because they may not have, the intellectual capacity to run the affairs of government well. And we talked about the manifesto. The manifesto is just the aim and objectives of the party. That is, it's just a cardinal plan of a political party, which they intend to deliver when they get into power. Any question? Okay, you want to see a copy of a manifesto? Look at the slide very well. At least I gave you two copies of a Labour Party and the Communist Party. And at the same time, there's a picture of a man showing a copy to the electorate. Another question. Okay, you are asking that which of the system can lead or that can encourage dictatorship. It's one-party system. One-party system can lead to what? Can lead to a dictatorship. Because only one party will continue to rule for a long time. And the leader may make himself a life leader until death comes. Okay, another question. Yes. That two parties can bring the country into two factions. Yes, two-party system can divide the country into two opposing factions. Because two of them, they will see the affair of running the country as a big competition. And two of the parties will be looking for a way, struggling for power at all costs. And if care is not taken, it will divide the country into two. That is, two opposing factions. People will be following the one party and they will be following the other party too. So, the unity of that country may not be all that, firmly established. Okay, that is that. To read further, consult Essential Government for Senior Secondary Schools by D.B. Silkpris. And also need Approach Government for Senior Secondary School by Oyediono. So let's look at the assignment. The assignment. 1. Give 5 features of multi-party system. 2. Distinguish between multi-party and pseudo-party systems. 3. What is manifesto? And also explain 2 importance of manifesto. This is where we are going to stop for today. I hope you enjoyed the class. If you really enjoy the class, let us meet some other time. Thank you for having me. God bless you.